Good evening, everybody. Today we are having this discussion in a kind of, should I say, never before जो माहौल जिसको बोलते हैं, ऐसे एक माहौल है पूरा देश में. सिर्फ आज ही नहीं, कई दिनों से चल रहा है. आज उसका मान लीजिए कि जैसे क्लाइमेक्स जिसको बोलते हैं, वो क्लाइमेक्स आ गया, क्योंकि राम टेम्पल का कई दिनों से वो पुनराय उसका स्थापित किया गया. And for that, the whole nation has been witnessing a kind of, I don't know how to describe it. You call it euphoria, you call it frenzy, you call it the kind of awakening, or whatever name you may like to give it. এখন এই যে অদ্ভুত একটা পরিস্থিতিতে আমরা আলোচনা করতে বসেছি, আমাদের উদ্দেশ্য কিন্তু কোনোভাবেই কোনো ভাবাবেগকে আঘাত দেওয়া নয়, কিন্তু সত্যটাকে খোঁজা এবং সেই সঙ্গে যে বিভিন্ন স্ববিরোধের জন্ম হয় অনেক সময় অনেক পরিস্থিতিতে, সেই স্ববিরোধগুলোকে দূর করে একটা সত্যের কাছাকাছি পৌঁছানোর চেষ্টা. আমরা সেই জন্য আজকে আলোচনা করব পুরো বিষয়টি নিয়ে. যিনি সম্প্রতি একেবারে নিউজের ইয়েতে এসেছেন, মেসেজ ফ্রম গড এই বইটি লিখে, মেসেজ ফ্রম গডের লেখক শ্রী প্রদীপ মুখার্জি স্যার, উনি আজকে আমাদের সঙ্গে আলোচনায় যোগ দিয়েছেন. ওনার কাছে আমরা অনেকগুলো গুরুত্বপূর্ণ বিষয় জানতে চাইব. একেবারে প্রথমেই যেটা জানতে চাইব, right at the beginning, we'd like to know from Pradeep Mukherjee sir the kind of atmosphere and ambience that we have been witnessing across the country and in fact across many parts of the world. যে হঠাৎ করে যেন একটা এমন যে রামরাজ্য প্রতিষ্ঠা যেটাকে বলা হচ্ছে. তো আপনি যেহেতু আপনার বইটা পড়ে আমি যতটুকু দেখেছি, you have divided God into 4 categories. So my first question would be, which category would Lord Rama belong to?
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Should I speak in which language?
Any language you prefer, or you can use mixed language as well.
Okay, ঠিক আছে.
যেটাতে আপনি comfortable.
You are asking me about the 4 gods, but first your viewers must know a little bit about me. I am a human, so I am not saying I am not human. I was contacted by God somewhere around 8 to 9 years back, and God told me that I have to work with God. I did not believe in God. I am not a religious person. I am not a spiritual person. I am a purely materialistic person. And I'm highly skeptic. I know everything about the mind. I know the delusions of the mind. I know the hallucinations of the mind. In such a situation, when God came to me, I clearly told God that I do not believe in you, but I will work for you. And that is how my work with God started. What was the work of God at that point of time when I started around 8.5 years back? That work was basically had nothing to do with the humans. It had everything to do with the souls of the humans. And these souls who were stuck within this matrix, within this domain, they wanted to go back to God. And my job was basically to facilitate their going back to God. For that work, I was given certain abilities, certain cognitions, certain perceptions, certain way of understanding and knowing things. When my work started, I was a total skeptic. I did not believe in God. And it took me over 5 years to really understand that I am truly working for God. But what happened in these 5 years? What happened in these 5 years was everything that was not God came to me. From the good, from the bad, and the ugly, all 3. And all of them kept on telling me, leave God, do not work for God, you will be given everything that you want, and you will be taken care of in every way. But I had made my commitment with God, and I was like, what if I am truly working with God? I had to find out. There was no way to directly know that I was working for God. But what I had to know indirectly was who are not gods. And so my journey started in knowing all these who were not God, who came to me, who tried to stop me, who tried to deceive me, who tried to create all kind of problems in my life. And I started knowing one by one each one of them. I knew all the deities, I knew all the angels, I knew all the masters who had died and who are currently on this planet. I knew all the lower world, I knew the demons, I knew the satanic ones, I knew all the other things, some of whom have certain names we are not commonly aware of. And I knew the lowest and the highest. And in this lowest and the highest, the first thing that was given to the humans around 600 years back was by a person known as Kabir. He came among the humans, but he was truly the Son of God. He gave us a clear understanding that there are four gods, or rather four types of gods. The lowest of them, he said, are all the deities. The deities whom we call Bhagwan, whom we call Vidata, Paramatma, anything, we give them all kind of names, but they are only deities. And they start from Durga, Shiva, and all the way down to Kuldevi, Gamdevi. Then the next hierarchy was the souls. And these souls were something which was within us. So when people said God is within us, they were referring to this God called the souls. And those who wanted to attain moksha, they worshipped this God, or rather wanted to be one with this God. Those who wanted to go to heaven, they contacted the first God. They wanted their life just to be a little more having ease and peace. They contacted the lowest God. Now this third God, which is the soul, and then there was another God which was above this, and this is known as the king of this universe, the king of this multiverse. This king has many other names. He is known as Kalbrahm in our culture. He is also known as Jyoti Niranjan. He is also known in the West as Allah, as Jehovah, as Ahura Mazda, as the Lord or Father. So these are the four gods which you are asking for, a clear distinction. Lowest is the deities, next is the souls, third is the king, fourth is the true God. And there is only one true God.
Isn't it difficult for a common man to distinguish among these four types of gods which you just mentioned?
It will be very difficult to distinguish for the common man, because they do not have the perception ability that I have. Only I have this perception ability because it was given as a gift from God to me. And so that is the understanding of the four gods. Very short. I talk a little more in my book, but that is a different thing. So let's come to the next question.
The next would be, if that be the case, that there are four kinds of gods, and as you clearly demarcated among the four types of gods, so Lord Brahma clearly is one of the types of these four types of gods. So the kind of, you call it opulence, you call it the grandeur with which the whole thing is being done. Do you think that we could have possibly done away with this? Because ultimate aim is to reach that, you call it the the supreme being, or the Paramatma or Param Brahma.
Let me first of all make clear that I have no problem with the way people are celebrating the opening of this Mandir, okay, this temple. I have no personal issue. I am seeing that people are enjoying, people are very happy, people are in a festival mood, people are dancing, singing, and it's good to have, because our life is so full of misery and suffering. If we get an opportunity to dance, if we get an opportunity to sing, if we get an opportunity to show our devotion to God, well, that's good. I have no problem with that. I'm only giving you the understanding. And ultimately, where does my understanding go? First, I make a declaration. The declaration is this, that in the temple, there is no Rama. There is no Ram there. And there is no Ayodhya Ram also there. But people will not understand that. It's a declaration. Where from does this declaration come? You see, when I was working with sending the souls back home, not sending rather, the word is facilitating. When I was facilitating the souls to go back home, I was working only up to the king level. But today, something else has emerged. The king totally failed in the mission that was given to the king, that the souls must not go back home. And the souls have started going back home. Now, when the king miserably failed, what was revealed to me, that above this king there are 7 more kings. Now, this was new information that I got some days back. And the one who is right on the top is very angry on this king, who is known as Kal Brahm or Jyoti Niranjan or Allah or whatever those names you want to give. That one, the first one right on the top, is very angry. This one said, I will now take over. And he is the one who is sourcing the opening of this temple. We do not have a name for that king in our vocabulary because he never was part of our narrative. Only up to the king called Jyoti Niranjan or Kal Brahm or Allah or Jehovah or the Lord or Father was within our vocabulary. The topmost king was not in our vocabulary, was never in our creation cycle, never interfered with our creation aspects. Now that is the one, the topmost, which has now taken over this work of coming and ensuring that humans get totally immersed in the festival of opening this temple. They become totally immersed in worshipping an icon called the son of Dashrath, known as Rama, that humans totally get engrossed into every religious activities. He is ensuring that people must become religious again. People must go back to temples. People must follow their own scriptures. People must follow their own sanskaras or conditioning or culture. He is ensuring that. Why is he ensuring this suddenly? Why is this frenzy, as you use the word, of making people go back to their religion in a big way? For one simple reason, that humans now have an opportunity to come to God, to be with God, to have the grace of God. What is the difference between God and what is the difference between the humans being with the other ones, which means all those kings and everything down the hierarchy? The difference is only this: king and everyone down the hierarchy has only one interest. Humans must suffer and have pain. However, if suffering and pain is continuous, humans will become insane. So, in order that humans don't become insane, the king would give them hope, king would give them festivals, king would give them an opportunity to dance and play, king would give them all kind of promises. King would say that I am compassionate, I am benevolent, I love you, I care for you, but the king doesn't have any of these qualities. So this is the reason why there is so much of frenzy around that temple. And it is not just that temple. People are being lured back into the Muslim religion, into the Christian religion, into all other religions. People are lured back into, if they are a Jaina, back into Jainism. If they are a Buddhist, back into Buddhism. People are lured back, pushed back, so that they don't choose God, they don't come to know about God, they don't connect with God and get the grace of God. Next question.
I didn't interject you because what you were saying is very, very extremely interesting and important. But my small question in this connection is, so you mean to say this topmost king, who is the king of the universe, who is at the top of 7 forms of king, it is to it serves his purpose well to have this kind of extreme polarization among different religious or different kind of religious community, because as you mentioned that Hindus will go back to the temples, Islams will go back to the mosque, Buddhists will go back to their sign, etc., which means there will be a clear-cut demarcation and clear-cut polarization.
Yes, first thing is the top one is actually above 7, so they are total 8. Number two, the top one has now taken over the control of this planet or the humans in his own hand. Number 3, the humans are a very interesting species. Why? Because everyone is interested in the humans. God is interested in the humans. All these 8 kings are interested in the humans. Again, why it is so is in the book. Now, yes, polarization is going to happen. So that's like very shortly I'm ending.
But polarization may lead to some kind of a disastrous end as well, if I may
which is
use
true,
that word.
because the humans are meant to create the food for the king and create food for some other beings also. So the best way to bring all kind of conflict among the humans is push them into their respective religion, make them feel unsafe with each of the groups, and make them dependent on their own so-called religious brothers and sisters, and not try to interact with the other groups.
Like in today's context, we often use this artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is all about something is programmed somewhere. When we know how to search, we get the exact results which we were looking for. So maybe God or these 8 forms of, I wouldn't say God, but these 7 or 8 kings, as you mentioned, they are also using humans as kind of artificial intelligence, because they are giving us or programming us with certain programmed things that you have to believe, you have to do this, you have to go back to temple, you have to worship this particular god, you have to worship that particular god. So in a way we are also programmed. So for someone we are also kind of programmed things and kept, which someone may discover through artificial intelligence.
It is true. We are being programmed by the matrix. They are using the matrix to program us, and they are using the Maya to deceive us. There are 2 things, matrix and Maya. Matrix programs us, Maya creates the illusion. Maya creates the separation. Maya creates our unsafe feelings with another group of people. Maya makes us feel that we are safe within our community and we are not safe when the other community is trying to control us. If you notice, they are only playing the game of control, domination, manipulation. And some people say that in this world, the good people will be rewarded and the bad people will be punished, but that is
Penalized.
not true. In this world, the people who can control others will be rewarded, and those who submit to others will be controlled, dominated, and manipulated. So who will be rewarded is, can you control other humans? Then you will be rewarded. If you cannot control other humans, they are not interested in you. They want to now use you in order to make their food, which means they will make you suffer and have pain.
So is this God or king who is above 7 kings, is he closer to the God in that order, or doesn't necessarily mean that?
All 8 of them are actually away from God. All 8 of them were pushed out from the domain of God because they rebelled against God. They wanted to do their own stuff. They did not want to follow the will of God. And then God said, if you do not want to follow my will, go out of my house and do whatever you want to do.
So if the real God is the supreme being, as you mentioned in your book and through your various workshops as well, what is the necessity of going to a shrine, temple, or elsewhere? Because we will have to look inside in search of that supreme being, isn't it?
You cannot know the supreme being either by going to the temple or by going inside you. No way you cannot know the supreme being. At the most, you can connect with the supreme being, that too through someone who already has a connection. On your own, you cannot connect. Yes, temples and going inside will stop you from accepting the supreme being and pushing out the supreme being from your life.
It actually does.
Yes.
It actually does that way.
If you are interested in worshipping, you cannot access God. If you are interested in self-realization, you cannot access God. If you are interested in pursuing success, money, fame, name, glamour, glory, you cannot access God.
So you have to give up everything, basically.
No, you don't have to give up anything. You only have to realize that these are not God. First clarity. Second clarity, God is someone beyond that who cannot be known. And number 3, this messenger of God doesn't say trust him. This messenger of God doesn't say that accept him. This messenger of God says just follow the instructions with total skepticism and doubt, and see the changes coming into your life over a period of 1 month. That's all the messenger is saying. No devotion, no following, no belief, no surrender, no faith, no submission. None of these things required. Total skepticism, but respect, and follow the instructions.
So that defies all conventional ideas and theories or philosophy, whatever available to the human beings of mankind.
Exactly. I am here actually to tell people that all those theories and narratives were created in order to create all kind of deceptions so that you do not choose God when God comes to you. Otherwise, they have no purpose. If today God leaves this place, within 100 or 200 years, all these narratives are going to vanish. Because now there is no use for religion, no use for spirituality, no use for making people ambitious and any of those things. They were only there because the kings knew God is coming.
Achha, that information he had.
Yes, the king already knew. Around 15,000 years back, king already came to know that God is going to come soon.
This concept of years, or say 15,000 years, 20,000 years, is it something peculiar to the human being, or in that domain, the calculation of years and time zone, those are also different? What we may be
This
thinking
15,000
15,000
years,
years may not be that long for them.
no, it is not that long for them. This is the human time, human linear time
That's
in
what I
the
was
third
asking.
dimension. That is what I'm talking about. In the higher dimensions, this is not the number of years.
Yes, it's much shorter that way
Much
for
shorter,
them.
much shorter.
So a few minutes back, you mentioned that only few days ago you got to know that there is an eighth god who is above the seven kings. Sorry, eighth king who is above the seven kings. So maybe sometime after you will get to know even more revolutionary that
It
maybe
depends
a
up to
ninth
God.
king or a tenth.
it depends up to God how much God wishes to reveal to me. This only I got it because within the context of what is happening in Ayodhya, that is that the king currently, the number one within the eight, is now interested in all the religions and particularly is using the Ayodhya event to create all the frenzy, euphoria, all the dancing, singing, devotion, worshipping, and everything. It's like that one has created an icon around which the humans will come together. It's like the Muslims have the Kaaba. They come there. So every religion needs an icon. So this was the new icon that was created.